All right. So now I'm going to talk about, briefly talk about this tool called browser use. Just give me a second. Okay. So the tool is uh, uh, a new type of thing. I think we talked about this in lecture 9 about the coming age of agents. So definitely, I mean, agents are a thing. Agents are things that can do things that can do tasks on your behalf. So you tell it to do a certain thing and it'll go and do it for you. And ideally, everyone is always when they talk about agents, they talk about an agent that is planning your next vacation, things like that. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a reality anytime soon. I'm pretty sure, like, if you ask an agent to do the planning for you, it's more work for you than it's for the agent. So consumer agents are not going to be a thing maybe in the next year or so. Again, okay, nothing is certain. But I think business agents, like, businesses, there's so much of this sort of process, which is, okay, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, or then you do these two, then you do, based on the output of those, do these two, three things, right? Like things like that. There's lots of these sorts of processes which are specified already. There are documents that indicate what is the process. And a lot of the times it's just okay going through each of them one after the other. It's not just bureaucratic processes. It's also software engineering processes. So you write this code, write this unit test, or have this sort of test case and run these unit tests, deploy it into your dev branch, whatever. Right? There's a bunch of these sorts of things that you follow usually in your process. And so agents are like automated AI that can make these sorts of decisions on on their own, where you just specify a set of high level commands. And so there are a couple of agents that are already very mainstream, like Anthropic, the one that has Claude, has this computer use agent, which they released like a few months ago, 6 months ago or so. That was a limited release, and it could do, it could control your computer and do a bunch of things on its own. I tried it, like, but it was not very helpful, and I don't think they have released an update to that. OpenAI has this thing called Operator, which is a similar browser use tool. So it is generates its own, opens its own browser, and then does tasks on it. Like it's a remote browser, so they spin up a virtual machine and they have a browser on it, and it can do things like, okay, order lunch for me or buy these things on Instacart. Or, they've shown a bunch of those sorts of things. There's this thing called browser use, which is an open source version of that. It's a startup, but it's all open source. I mean, they have a pro plan too, but it's mostly open source. And it's almost similar at this current point. I mean, it's very basic, but I can show you some use cases of how I use them. I mean, it's not like anything that is really fancy or helpful at this point, but again, like this is the future that might come in the future, like near term. So we really want to be prepared for that and think about like how we can incorporate these or not in our workflows. So I'll just show you a couple of examples. So basically, this is browser use is the tool, and you can download its source code. So basically, let's try to check that. So it's they have this. Um, okay, obviously that's not a good thing, but anyway. So one other thing is they have this sort of very good documentation. If you want to write your own code, but they also have like code, like, okay, they support a bunch of different types of models, including OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, but also some of these ones like Olama, like DeepSeek, and things like that. I mean, yes, this is very good documentation. So basically, okay, so but the one thing is it currently requires very basic level of programming, or at least copy pasting of code. Like, so basically what I did here is I took a code from their website and copy pasted it. So I do some, this is Python code, and then I asked ChatGPT to make some changes on like how the results are stored. This is basically 10 lines of code at most. These are all like fluff on like how do you store the data and all of that kind of stuff. So basically here I'm saying, okay, go to Google, search for something. I mean, okay, this is a very useless, trivial example, but just to show you how it works. So, this is basically if you just run this. So basically what it is doing is it's opening up the browser, right? Opens a new tab, goes to google.com, searches for, it's automatically, so I'm not doing anything, right? It is automatically. So it searches for that keyword, Kiran Garimella. Then it said presses this Google search button and gets these results, right? Like, so now it's checking what are results. So, all these things here, these are not the results. So it has to only process the ones that are here. And as it is running, you can see here the steps that this agent is following. So, it says opening Google to start search process. Google page is open, right? Like, so it, and then it identified and got the results. Actually, it produced them in this sort of very structured manner. So it said, title, URL, description, title, URL, description, and so on. And then it automatically, once the task is done, closed the browser. So it took 45 seconds, and so the results look like this, something like okay, these are the names of the things, these are the titles, and okay, one thing you realize is I have a lot of doppelgangers, like, or people who share the same name and has had like some confusion in the past. So this guy is very popular. Okay, he's a professor also. Some of these are me, but yeah, there's another person. There's another person who's a director of an institute at MIT and Harvard. All of them with the same name. So you can also ask, way more complex things. Like you can say. Uh, Things like okay, go to Google and get the not just the top 50 results, but the top no, top 10 results, but the top 50 results actually, and do this. So what I did is, yeah, I just copy pasted a query that I had, like, so which is go to Google, search for this, get the top 50 results, count the number of results, which are about this Kiran Garimella from Rutgers, right? Like, and this is a very text specific. Like, I'm asking it as a prompt, and there's a GPT-4o model behind it, like, which takes a screenshot, looks at, and decides where to click. Right, so there's lots of really interesting innovation happening here, which is, I mean, I could also do this using, Selenium, which is, it has existed for a decade now, which is on sort of browser automation, where you can open a browser or click on a button and things like that. But to do these sorts of things, like, so for instance, to go from doing, okay, get the top 10 results, output it in JSON, to get the top 50 results, get, where these people are from, and get me a summary. Like, these things will take like exponentially longer, like, to do it yourself. Again, a lot of these currently are things that you can do yourself, but let's try to run this. So this is a much more complex task, right? Like, so it's not just it's saying top 50 results. I didn't specify where to do it, where to get these results from, or whatever. It's automatically figuring out by itself. So it enters the name, clicks on the search. So you can see here 21 it identified. So it'll say 21. Yeah, click that. Then you got these results. Now it's able to get these. Uh, get the titles of all of these, and as you can see, it automatically scrolled down, right? Like, so it used to be here, it scrolled down here, and now I don't know what it is doing. Let's check what it is doing. So it extracted some initial results, and so the goal is to get the first page. Okay, those were the results. Now I think it did some processing. Okay, clicked on the next page. So this is the second page. Now these are the results. Yeah, these are my competitors, like this guy and this guy. But here, as you can see, 3 out of 6 are, with image results about me. So basically, again, I mean, this is just a fun, really useless task, but it shows you the complexity, right? Like, you did not specify that you have to scroll down, click on next, and click to go to the next page. So it automatically figured out that there are 10 results per page, and it's able to do this by itself. Uh, by the way, like, these things are in a different language, because this is the default Chrome instance that it is opening. You can also have an easy way for you to specify, don't open this custom Chrome instance, but actually the Chrome instance that it works with Chrome at the moment. the Chrome instance that I'm using, you can specify that and it'll directly work with that. So that way, all the websites that you're logged into, all of that kind of stuff, like is automatically taken care of. It's very simple to do that. Again, go on the website and they will show you how to do that. So let's check it out actually. So browser settings, right? Like so here you can say your own browser. Like if you want your own browser, you can just say you have a config which says, okay, this is the path in which my of my Google Chrome, and that is going to work. Let's check this how this is going. So uh, it got up to 45 results, and so far, and 16 of them are related to Rutgers. So yeah, not and so then it's going to get to 50 now. Okay, so it completed and it took like 2.5 minutes. And so it says a total of 50 were processed. Out of these, 17 were specifically about Kiran Garimella from Rutgers. Okay, so again, like this task took like 2.5 minutes, and got me some of the stuff. Again, is this a useful thing? Probably not. Absolutely not. Like, but there are many other useful tasks that you can automate this way, that where you could have a browser do it for you, things that are you need to repeat over and over. So one of the things that I do is, again, like I've shown you examples of how what I do, but for example, one of the things is exploring data, right? Like I have an idea and I want to get some data and initially explore it. And some of the times the data is easy, like you go on data.gov and get some data. But sometimes it's behind like some sort of search bars, and then you have to go through multiple pages, download each of them, things like that. So there's a very good example of that, which is a government website called regulations.gov. Okay, and there is this thing called uh, ACIP, which is it's called I don't remember what it is, but it is about complaints about the vaccine, or complaints and concerns about the vaccine. So on regulations.gov, let's check what ACIP is. So this is the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, and there are regular meetings for which people send comments, and each of these are really very detailed. Like a lot of people have comments and concerns about these. So this is 2024, not even during COVID, post COVID, but still you can see there are like 3,000 comments, and each of them. So if you want to get this data, right, like each of them is like so this is about of someone trying to say, okay, I need children's vaccines for COVID, and especially this are Novavax. And I don't know, I mean, there's lots of very interesting research questions here that you can study, like how many of these are pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, how many are seem to be like, about, I mean, most likely, I'm assuming there is some sort of coordination happening, like especially, for instance, if you see a lot of pro-vaccine comments about Novavax. Maybe there's something that's happening there. I don't know. You should, we could try to get this data and explore it. Like, for instance, this is a good example of anti-vaccine. I'm assuming why is the COVID vaccine stipulation legally immigrating to the US? Why is a COVID recovered person required to take these vaccines? This is anti-vax, right? Like things like that. I mean, again, nothing like specific or like particular about pro or anti-vax. But basically, if you want to get all of this data, right? Like let's say I want to get this data during 2022. I think that's more like, okay, here there's only 33 comments, but let's see. So there's no comments here, and so on, right? Like, so I think some of these are very interesting to look at data over time and look at, the different types of comments that people make, and, things like that. So if I want to just get a sample of these, what I can do is, again, I can use this sort of browser automation to deploy this task. So I can, have a query that is a bit complex. So where I'll tell it, okay, so here I will say this is my task. Right? Like, so this is a multi-step task. Please complete all the steps properly. Go to regulations.com, search for ACIP, record the top 5 results that appear, click on each of them, go to the documents comments tab, Next, get the first 5 pages. For each page, I want to get a structured JSON containing the name of the person submitting the comment and the actual comment, for which you have to click on the link that says comment from and the date on which it was posted, say the output, right? Like, so super complex task. So as you can see, like for instance, if I go here, right, like I have to go to regulations, search for this, get the top 5 results, right, which are these. Then for each of them, go and click on this result and then go to this tab, and then for each of them click on this and like get the name, get the date, and get the content, right? Like, so this is the task. Let's see how, again, like this is something that I could write an automated scraper for. That'll take me like 3 hours or so just to debug everything and get everything and make sure it's robust and all that stuff. But the good thing about this tool is that it handles all of those. Like for instance, we'll see, right? Like, so there are examples where, for instance, you go here and maybe, there's no comment or someone posted like a PDF comment or something like that. And because it's an LLM based tool, like it can automatically handle these. So let's try to run this. Let me check how this works. So again, so it's starting the browser. It'll go to regulations.gov and it's looking for where to search. Like it doesn't know. Oh, okay. I guess, I mean, it did it something differently, right? Like, so it went to directly, instead of searching on that, it went to Google and searched for on this website. I want to search this. Okay. So then it came here. There are apparently 126,000 comments. This is October 2022. Okay. So this clicked on that result, got this result, right? Like, so let's check actually. So here, yeah, the person name is anonymous. The comment is this is a violation. So then it went back. So now it has to get the second comment again from anonymous on October 19th. Okay, so then it clicked on it and something broke, right? So let's see what happened here. So, okay, accidentally navigated to something else, right? Privacy notice page like, because it clicked on something else. Yeah. Then it went back, fixed that, actually went back to the right page. It should never be mandated. Now again, came back. Now it has to get this comment from Garrison. So it'll know that it has to click on this. Let's check if it actually does, right? Like then it clicked on this, got this comment from Garrison Brian. And it looks like, I mean, a lot of these, this is extremely interesting, right? Like, so these are comments from people about the COVID vaccine during the vaccine peak time. And, all of these are seem to be some sort of anti-vax coordinated campaign. So these are, all talking about children, and it looks like a coordinated campaign. So this is, got this comment from Nikki Ferguson. And then, yeah, so there's another which is also anti-vax. So basically, yeah, as you can see, this is anonymous. This is a violation of stuff like and so on. But yeah, as you can see, okay, it did not do the full task properly, but you can see these. And I think if you go to results.json, uh, I think maybe, no. Um, result.json that might have like some of these results that we're looking for. Obviously, it did not complete the full task, so we asked for it to go for each page and then go 5 into each page and do this kind of stuff. Like, so we can change the prompt, but as you can see, it's a super complex task and it is already able to perform a good way about it. So this is the browser use tool. It's shows the sort of agentic behavior. Let's look at some more examples of how I use ChatGPT in the next video.